to the second East Super Series of the regular season. We're getting deep into the season at this point, just a couple weeks left. There's going to be a lot on the line. We're going to talk about some of those scenarios. But first of all, we've got some great Quidditch coming up. We've got the home team, Washington Admirals, hosting. They'll be taking on the Boston Forge as well as the Charlotte Aviators. I'm Ethan Sturm. I've got Jack McGovern here. Jack, what is the thing you're most excited about this initial matchup between Boston and Washington?
Oh, I'm so excited for everything today, Ethan. In this matchup, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Boston Beaters, maybe the best core in the league, against the Washington Chasers, who hung tough with New York while being outplayed in the beater game. They're top to bottom, very strong. I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup today, Ethan.
Yeah, the Washington quaffle depth is stout. I mean, we saw a great performance from Tyra Trudeau and the rest of the first line, Brian Mulcahy, John Sheridan, Julia Baer. Second line stepped up big as well. Rachel held kind of holding down the fort on that line. TJ Jenner, a young player that we're all very excited about. Of course, some of those names I mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of familiarity in these programs because from this Boston program, Tyra Trudeau, Julia Baer, and then this season, Brian Mulcahy and Justin Cole, who both made the leap. They have all won titles with Boston, and now they're trying to do the same thing with a new franchise, a Washington franchise that's a very new look. When we were on with them, they were talking a lot about big cultural changes, and I think we saw it a lot in that first series.
Oh, yeah, and the winning culture that Tyra Trudeau and Julia Baer have brought over as coaches of this Admirals team was reflected in their performance, jumping out to quick leads, fighting hard, coming back in Game 3. It was an impressive performance. And one of the main questions for Boston, of course, too, is how do they fill those absences or players who have now gone to the Admirals franchise, and they have some young players stepping up that we'll be keeping an eye on today, too.
Yeah, Ian Skura, a huge first weekend with the team last week in Rochester. Tyler Beckman has stepped onto the first line. We're going to see how he can perform. But you mentioned the absences from people leaving the program. Also, big absence today. Leanne Dillman not traveling with Boston this weekend. Obviously, one of the two-star beater pairs for this team. You have Max and Lulu. You also have Mario Nasta and Leanne Dillman. Dillman's out we're going to have to see how they adjust. We've got starting lineups coming out to the field. On the Boston side, Max Havlin and Ashley Dolan are the starting beaters, and we see the same full first quaffle line we saw from Boston in Week 1. Jake Archibald, Teddy Costa, Tyra Beckman, and Grace Dastu. On the Washington side, the beating pair, Bernie Burgess and Katrina Hicks, will be starting. And then I believe the same first line we've been used to seeing. No, a slight adjustment here. Dale Farnon's going to be starting at Chaser. No, he's subbing off now. Tyra Trudeau's going to be starting along with John Sheridan, Julia Baer. We're going to see who the last quaffle player is. Oh, it is going to be Farnon. He's just down a broom. So that's going to be starting lineups here. We're about to go. Boston started the season 3-0 with 3 wins against Rochester last week. Washington started the season 0-3 with 3 close losses to New York the week before. We've got a lot of excitement going up. There's going to be a lot about positioning in the East Division going on here. Who's going to be qualifying is going to be on the line. We could see teams clinching berths. So far, New York is the only team who has clinched through from the East Division. I'm excited. I know Jack's excited. I think we're about to get started. Alex Amadal, head ref, on the call. We're about to get started here. Looks like Farnon and Costa are going to be running for brooms up. And we are off, and the quaffle is going to be run by Boston, but it's going to be Washington coming away with the first bludger control. Bernie Burgess with a good beat on Max Havlin. Dolan's going to sub right out. I imagine Zoo's going to be coming on the field, and Hicks is going to take that chance to press Archibald. Passes over to Costa.
I love the aggression early from Katrina Hicks, coming away with bludger control and putting some pressure on Jake Archibald at the key.
Yep, we see a zone for the first time this season from Washington. And it's going to be a pass across the zone to Beckman. He gets beat easily by Burgess. Rough first possession there for Boston. And Washington's going to sub out with bludger control and with the quaffle. Farnon's still working with this first line. We saw Mulcahy play with this first line the first time around. Haven't seen him on the field yet. Melissa Smith and Cody Nardone, this has been the top beating pair for the Admirals so far this season. We'll be subbing in with the bludger control gained for them by Hicks and Burgess.
Melissa Smith has been absolutely outstanding for the Admirals. She's been the key to what they've been doing in the beater game.
Bear working down the left side, pressured by Havlin, but Havlin doesn't want to go too far out. He has the only bludger on his defense. Bear's still being given space. It looks like this Mark defense is going to allow Bear to work. She's looking to move down the left side. She throws over to Sheridan. She's going to set a pick on Beckman. And Sheridan's just going to reset to Farnan. A lot of controlled possession here from Washington. One thing we didn't see from the Washington Beaters is a lot of willingness to be very aggressive on the offensive side, and they seem to be patient here, but the offense is fine with that. They can just work it around and look for a spot.
Yeah, this is a really interesting choice to leave Julia Bear unmarked here. Jake Archibald is shading over in that direction, but I'm not sure how long Washington or Boston is going to be able to keep that up with Julia Bear potentially punishing them for it.
Yeah, they marked her 2 years ago when this matchup happened. As we do see some pressure here from Havlin. Havlin's looking to make a play for bludger control. He falls, though, so it's briefly going to be a no bludger, but he recovers. A gang tackle there from Costa and Beckman. An easy cleanup from Havlin. Bludger control does stay with Washington, but Boston gets the stop they want.
And that's a really encouraging side from the Boston Chaser defense that they could bring down Tyler Trudeau on the first possession with some help defense, a two-man game tackle. That's a good start for Boston defensively.
Havlin runs right in, gets a beat on Nardone. Beckman's looking to drive. His shot goes wide. That's one thing we've seen from this Boston line, not the shooting that we used to see from them where they were really lights out. I mean, even thinking back to that 2019 championship game, so many shots right through that Austin zone. Seems like they're still getting their sea legs under them a bit.
Yeah, this is a shoot-happy team. They're not going to stop anytime soon. This is their game plan. They're going to keep shooting.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the familiarity we were talking about, right? I mean, Washington played mark defense all weekend against New York. They brought the zone very slightly, but basically all weekend. And now they're just sitting in that zone. They're daring Boston to shoot at them. Farnan's still in the game with this first line. Goes over to Julia Bear. This time she is picked up by Beckman. She's looking to hand it off potentially to Sheridan. Sheridan slips away from Dastu. A beat by Dardone's going to briefly force no bludgers. Bear has some space to work, is going to throw it over to Trudeau. Marked hard by Costa. There's going to be a card. It looks like there's at least a foul being called. Bear throws a pass over to wide open Sheridan. Oh, and Sheridan can't finish, but we do have a stoppage. A huge opportunity for Sheridan early in the game.
Yeah, Sheridan's got to convert that with how Cody Nardone and Melissa Smith were deep in the Washington, or in the Boston zone. They got to avoid.
So it's going to be a yellow card on Teddy for a contact from behind on that tackle he made on Trudeau. So Trudeau is probably going to be reset with the quaffle here. But yeah, like you said, first of all, it's a tough missed opportunity for Sheridan, but it also kind of speaks to how well this Washington team moves the ball. That was a beautiful find by Julia Bear.
Oh, yeah. This Chaser core is a treat to watch on the pitch.
So the new-ish, where it's 2 years in now, of the advantage rule for MLQ. Trudeau can start anywhere along the keeper zone line. And we're waiting on a call. Trudeau looked for the dunk. Archibald went up for a block. I think Archibald on the way up kind of swung that hoop around, and Trudeau's dunk apparently went wide. We stay scoreless, and Boston now has a chance to power play kill.
And that's a big missed opportunity for Washington. A player up with bludger control on Max Havlin and Lulu Shu. They needed to convert that one.
Yeah. Boston's going to be in no rush here because they do not have bludger control and they are down a quaffle player. So I would imagine some passing around and just maybe try to make a play for bludger control. Havlin does tap out Sheridan. An aggressive beat there from Nardone. He's going to keep bludger control. Melissa Smith is actually going to lose it here because Lulu has outmanned her. But in the process, Boston throws it out of play. Washington looking to run with this man advantage. They have all the bludgers back suddenly. Farnan down the right side, gets by Dastu, is in the lane. He looks to Trudeau. Trudeau's going to try to not make the same mistake twice. This time he finds Bear and she puts it away. 10-0 Washington early.
And that's more like it from the Washington offense. But again, Melissa Smith and Cody Nardone creating some chaos, drawing in the Washington Beaters, and winning their exchanges. That's their formula for success today.
Yeah, I mean, this has been one heck of a shift here from Nardone and Smith. They have not lost bludger control yet. And we do see Ryan Fenning subbing into the game. We'll talk about him in a second. Right now, Costa has the ball on the left side. He's looking in Fenning's way, but he just gets a huge hit here from Sheridan. Melissa Smith's going to easily clean that up. They might be able to run again. Luzu is back, but they do keep bludger control. We might get a foul early. But yeah, Fenning in for Beckman, the sub. And, you know, Fenning from the Cal Quidditch program made that huge run in U.S. Quidditch Cup a few years ago. over in Boston now, starting med school in the fall. A big addition, and didn't play with them in Rochester. You know, he's a little late to the program. I think he only moved to Boston in late June, early July. They wanted him to get a couple extra practices under his belt. We weren't 100% sure how he'd be used this weekend, and it seems like how he's being used is right out there with the first line right away.
Yeah, and coming off, a penalty that they conceded a goal on. This is a big situation for Ryan Fenning. He's a national finalist. They trust him.
Yep. Okay, so still first line all in for Washington. We also saw Morgan Bertram come in for Grace Dastu on the Boston side. They force a throwback there. As a throw across to Sheridan. Sheridan in one motion is able to get it across to Bear. She's marked by Morgan Bertram. She's able to create some space, but her pass is never going to get all that close to Trudeau or Dale Farnan. An easy pickoff for Jake Archibald. We've already reached the 5-minute mark here.
There was a really nifty play by Max Havlin there to just swat a bludger towards John Sheridan there to put some pressure on him and prevent the easy alley-oop goal. Yeah.
That said, though, Max and Lulu never able to get bludger control their entire shift. Now Mario Nasta and Ashley Dolan will sub in, looking to have a better shot at it. Nasta's going to be working on Nardone as Fenning works it down the right side. Nardone beats Dolan out of the play. Nasta wins one exchange. It's Costa looking to shoot from distance. He's going to miss. It's going to go all the way back behind the halfway line. I believe that'll be the reset used. Nasta is looking to get the ball from Smith. And the ball went over the line, which means it's going to be Boston ball. Nasta makes a big beat on Nardone. He's going to get bludger control. Meanwhile, passes goes into Fenning. Fenning loses control, tries to get one to Bortram. Smith's able to clean it up, but we do have fouls being called on the play. But Boston does come away with bludger control.
Yeah, that's good for Boston to regroup there. I know Teddy Costa can make that shot behind the hoops. I don't love it. They have to be a little bit more patient, I think, especially with some height on the field now in Ryan Fenning and Ian Skura.
So Dale Farnan's going to pick up a yellow card for contact from behind. It'll be a power play here. So it's going to be Fenning's ball right in front of the hoops. Big opportunity. I do believe Melissa Smith is going to end up with possession of a bludger. At minimum, Cody Nardone has it. Not 100% sure how. I'm not sure how Washington ended up with bludger control in that whole scrum. I thought Mario Nasta had gotten out with it.
Yeah, I didn't see, Ethan. They certainly have a lot of players back right now.
Right,
in front
but
of the
Fenning
hoops.
does get to use that advantage call to go all the way across the other side. Trudeau's going to try to guard that fast hoop. Trudeau's never going to get there. Fenning has his first goal as a member of the Boston Forge, and we have a tie game 10-10.
A low-scoring game, as you mentioned. More than 5 minutes into the game now, and we have a 10-10 game. This is interesting.
Yeah, so we get a half-line sub here from Washington. Mulcahy and Littleton now onto the field. Littleton from that UNC program and eventually making his way here to the Admirals for the first time. Hicks now in the game as well with Burgess. They were the ones who got bludger control on the opening possession. Trudeau flips it all the way back to Littleton. That's where Littleton likes to work. He's working on Fenning. There is no bludger back. Finally, one gets back to Nasta, but all Littleton can do against the pressure from Ian Skura, who's subbed in keeper, is reset it. Trudeau's able to keep on the right side of the field. He goes right by Greenhouse, flips it over to Mulcahy. Mulcahy has no problem going through Skura, and it's a beautiful goal. Mulcahy scoring on his first possession.
Absolutely beautiful from Washington. But again, the Washington Beaters, this time Katrina Hicks and Bernie Burgess, just completely drawing the Boston Beaters out of the play.
Yep.
Now we have Mario Nasta and Ashley Dolan, and Dolan taking the place of Leanne Dillman, who is not here today.
We get a double beat on the far side as Bertram gets the ball at top. She's looking to drive. She passes it over to Skura. Skura, the leading scorer on Boston so far. He does a flip through, but Justin Cole read him like a book.
And
He's
we have
going
a
the other way.
situation.
Mulcahy has it. He looks for the mid-range shot or a pass to Littleton. Either one will work out. There's still no bludgers. Littleton goes right for Bertram and puts it through. Another goal for the Admirals. It's 30-10 just like that.
I don't think Boston was expecting this. Their beaters are being completely outplayed at the moment. Washington has held control for almost the entire game.
Yeah, that last possession, Dolan and Nasta got really split up, allowing Burgess to just beat Dolan out of the play, and that eventually created the opportunity. Greenhouse has the ball on the left side here. Passes back to Skura. Skura working from behind. Cole has stepped out on him. Back over to Greenhouse. This zone is working as intended. It's going to be a flip over to Fenning. Cole, though, stepping right out on him with Hicks' help. It goes over to Bertram. Great movement there from Boston, but Bertram cannot finish. Skura still has the ball. Hicks pressures him out. It's going to be a long reset. And the ball's eventually going to get to Littleton. Littleton's able to get the free reset. Just a hustle play there from Littleton, outrunning Nasta.
I love that from David Littleton. And that's sloppy from Boston. There was no one in the vicinity, really, and Mario Nasta tried to protect the quaffle, but there was no Boston player.
Yeah, 30-10 the score. Boston does finally have bludger control, though. What can they do with it is the big question. Rachel Heald is now subbed into the game. Heald, Cole, Littleton, and Mulcahy are the line. Heald back across to Mulcahy. He's working on Skura. His shot goes right into Harry Greenhouse. I don't think it was going in either way. Greenhouse is going to take possession. The bludgers are all behind. I think this is going to be a rare no bludger opportunity here for Boston as they finally got bludger control. Greenhouse looking to go by Cole. Cole setting himself. Greenhouse gets around and easily flips it through.
Oh, I love to see that. Harry Greenhouse just blows right by Justin Cole.
Okay, the ball, it was originally called no good, but it's been corrected. They referenced the ARs. It is now 30-20, Washington lead. Lawrence Lazuski is subbed in the game. We get a beater subs as well. Colin Bourne and I believe Katrina Hicks are onto the field as subs. No, it is going to be Melissa Smith in, along with Colin Bourne.
That's a big play from Harry Greenhouse to beat Justin Cole one-on-one when Boston was looking for answers, to recognize the opportunity and get back a goal quickly.
Yeah, especially in this two-handed tackling meta, never that easy to get by somebody. Washington's being very patient here as their beaters lose the first exchange. It's Cole and Helt just working it back and forth on the left side. Heald back to Cole. Smith cannot get Nasta, and it's going to probably be a reset here. No pressure on Heald yet. Heald's looking to throw across to Lazuski. Lazuski had a step there on Athena Mayer, but the path goes flying high.
Yeah, it was the right idea. The execution was just off. And that was a problem we saw from Washington last week.
Yeah, no bludgers here again. Skura looking to work. He gets a screen from Athena Mayer. Mulcahy can't get a hand on Skura. Either can Cole. Skura is just making his way through this defense, but Cole finally gets his revenge with a wrap tackle. Ball on the ground. There are some hands up. I think this might end up being a card on Cole. Mulcahy was the one who fell on the loose ball.
Yeah, Washington, for all their skill in the chaser game, they're like the Golden State Warriors of old in that they turn the ball over a decent amount. So that's the trade-off that you're dealing with here with Washington.
Yeah, I mean, we've all played against just dominant beater possession, and it's really hard to do anything about. Yeah. And one of the things that impressed me in that New York series is that Washington actually scored a couple goals against the press when not having any bludgers, which is they weren't that far from doing it on that play, right? Just a little bit high on that skied pass in the direction of Lazuski. We're still waiting on a call. We did have a sub. Mario Nasta did just come out of the game. Kieran Collier is now in. It looks like Serena Montero has also joined from the sidelines. So we're going to see the third line here. Cole is going to get a contact from behind penalty. Skura just made them all look so bad that all Cole could do is get in there from behind.
Yeah, if I were Boston, I'd want the ball in Ian Skura's hands more often. He's been dynamic for the Forge.
No, I mean, leading scorer in that opening weekend, 7 goals, 2 assists, just 3 turnovers, really clean stats from the young keeper from Middlebury. So I guess there's going to be a second card here on Mulcahy for the slide as he came into possession of the ball. So this is going to be really bad for the Admirals because, I mean, first of all, it seemed like the goal was going to be inevitable off of the first foul, but now they're going to be playing down a player even if they do.
Yeah, this is not good for the Admirals. Boston is going to, or should level the score here at 30-all.
Skura's got the ball, already 1 goal on the day. Just trying to find a way to arbitrate the positionings and the calls. This is game 1 here of our East Super Series as a reminder. Washington taking on Boston. The Charlotte Aviators also waiting to play their second Super Series of the season already. They carry a 2-4 record out of the first one. But some feisty play and some really strong beating. I'm excited to see them on the pitch with a few more weeks of practice under their belts.
Yeah, this is maybe the most closely contested Super Series ever. This is a really exciting weekend of games we have here in Washington.
That said, we don't have the series of the week this weekend, which is why, as you'll see when we get to the booth, it's Casual Saturdays here in the MLQ Digital Media booth. But that will be at 5 o'clock between the League City Legends and San Antonio Soldados. But meanwhile, Ian Skouras easily scores on the free goal. Like we said, that's only going to set one of the players out of the penalty box. So now the Admirals will still have to play for a minute with a disadvantage. Lawrence Lazuski was the one who put on the green headband. I think he might be subbing out to get an extra keeper back in the game. It will be Trudeau. So Trudeau, Heald, and Cole will be the chasers. And we see a new beater coming on the pitch. Brendan Hutton only played for the Admirals at beater in their third game against New York. He did have a +1/+- in that game, but wasn't at the first two games. Looking to make his presence felt against Collier and Serena. But his first beat does go wide. Collier is able to get the block. It's going to force Admirals to really try to move the ball around. Harry Greenhouse is able to force a loose ball. There's a big scrum in the middle of the field between Bludgers. There is a foul on the play, but Greenhouse looking to run. Fenning gets the ball, one-handed grab. Looking to work on Cole. Cole gets two arms on him, but it's an easy flip across. But no, Mayer misses the goal, and I don't think it would have all mattered anyway because, like I said, Ricky Nelson, the AR on the near side, has been waiting to call a foul for about 10 seconds. Score is 30-30 here. We're well past the halfway point of the 20-minute period. We do operate with a set score system here in MLQ, if you haven't been watching much this season. So 20 minutes of just quaffle and beater play. Snitch comes on pitch. Snitch is worth 35 points, but a catch of the snitch doesn't end the game. It's going to be a set score, which is defined as a number of points, which is 60, past the leading team at the 20-minute mark. So we'll go over all that again when we get to the 20-minute point. But there's definitely been a change in momentum in this game. So what do you think has been the biggest difference maker?
Yeah, I mean, the Boston Beaters have found their way back into the game. Right now, it looks like they are holding control. No, they are not. But they're going to get control back on a beater penalty, it looks like. And they've been able to cause some problems for the Washington Chasers. They've been able to step. They've been able to cover cuts to the far hoops. They've shut down some of the passing options that Washington has come to expect.
Yeah, some more issues here for the Admirals as Hutton is going to be coming out with a yellow card for contact from behind in the beater game. I think it was that hit on Montero that you might have caught on the camera as the play was transitioning. Ball is with – okay, so the goal is going to be counted, so it is going to be 40-30 Boston. Mulcahy is on the field now. Hutton, unfortunately, now has to suffer a one-minute penalty because his foul is not taken away by the goal since there was somebody already in the penalty box. Collier pressing very high, knowing he's up a beater, but Washington does has its reset. Unclear. I don't think they're going to be called for using it there into their own keeper zone. Boston smartly is now sitting back because they do want to wait for that crossover midfield so they can force the reset. You only get one reset over a restrictor line per possession, the two restrictor lines being half field in your own keeper zone.
And Boston missed a chance to press there with Washington making a pretty risky beater substitution, bringing Colin Bourne into the game.
Trudeau over to Cole. And back over to Trudeau. Heald and Bear both in the game right now for Washington. They're two very talented Team USA players along with Trudeau. Trudeau over to Cole. Cole far to Heald, but it's going to sail wide. It's going to be out of bounds. Harry Greenhouse is going to take possession. He's looking to run against Snow Bludgers again.
And that's another unforced error for Washington that's leading to a Boston fast break.
Finmar Gargan looked to get in off the pass from Greenhouse. He gets stripped by a big hit from Trudeau. Trudeau, arguably the best tackler amongst all keepers near the hoops. Skura, though, just slips over there. Oh, and Cole comes out of nowhere with the stop. Huge defense there out of Washington. I do not know how they kept them off the board.
That's such a big defensive stop as Brendan Hutton comes back into the game and Washington has killed that penalty. Could that be the momentum change that Washington needs?
Yeah, we apologize for the video being down. I will try to move more into radio play-by-play here. Everybody's back on the field. The penalty has been killed. Trudeau is going over to Heald at the top of the zone. We've got two beaters back with control in Collier and Montero. Heald is working down the far side. Skura has stepped out. Still a marked defense here for Boston. Trudeau has the ball at the top, thinks about a shot, instead zips it over to Bear. Bear's now working on Mayer. Bear finds a wide open Heald, and Heald puts it in with ease. We are all knotted up at 40.
And that's the danger of a marked defense when you're leaving players like Julia Bear and Rachel Heald open. Those are Team USA players. They're going to make you pay for it.
Yep. So 40-40 the time. 40-40 the score, 13-40 the time. Still budget control here with Boston. Colin Bourne and Brendan Hutton are now the beating pair. for Washington. Same beater still for Boston. Harry Greenhouse has the ball, staying at top. They force a no-budger. He gets into the lane. Bear and Cole are going to gang tackle him. He gets the ball off to Mayer, but Mayer can't get control right away. Bear's going to step all the way out to Mayer. Mayer has a free option, though. She takes it. Finn McGargan now has the ball at top. Teammates there at Tufts. Over to Skura here. Skura working on Cole. He got the better of Cole earlier, but with less momentum, Cole was able to keep him under control. He swings over to Mayer, and we're going to get a foul called by the staff. I assume it's going to be in the beater game because not much was going on in the Quaffle game.
Yeah, Colin Bourne and Brendan Hutton are handshaking and congratulating themselves, pumping up the sideline.
Yeah, they got bludger control in that exchange.
They have bludger control, and it seems like they think the penalty is going to be on Serena Montero.
Yeah, going to be an illegal kick. Probably somebody going down for a bludger and meeting the foot of Montero. So it's going to be a yellow card, and it's also going to be a Quaffle turnover. So this is something we talk a lot about in the MLQ digital media booth. You got to score on your beater power plays. We already saw Boston not score on their beater power play. In fairness, Washington did start with the ball, so that put a little bit more promise on it. But all you need to do is create a good no-budge situation and then attack effectively through it. Collier throws back off the first beat. Smart. He's able to keep the ball in the zone. Trudeau has it on the far side. Swings over to Heald. Heald with a one-hand grab. Her shot goes low, but Trudeau is all there. It's no budger. Trudeau uses all of his body. He goes through Skura. He goes through McGargan. He ducks it through. Admirals lead 50-40.
And Collier somehow regained bludger control, but completely lost track of the Quaffle on that play.
Snow budger's now the other way. Sorry, it is Hutton now saying on the play. Costa was taking, he gets two.
He gets two and throws him off and nobody in particular holds him. It has been the three holding up every lane, both passes and shots from Washington defense has kept them in this game and actually kept them in the lead here at 54.
John Hogan out.
15 minutes!
He's one-on-one with Skura, and he can't make it. The two developmental academy players from Team USA.
He's got a lot of space with Skura. He's one-on-one with Skura, and he can't make it. The two academy players from Team USA went head-to-head, and Skura, admittedly not doing all that much, came out the victor.
Yeah, that was fun to see. All the players.
Tyler, what number is Katrina? What? What number is Katrina? Katrina's 2. Thank you.
Right now, still 54 to Washington. Is this situation Washington found themselves a lot in against New York? They did get
Hey, who we got behind? Who we got behind?
Obviously, this Washington is very strong game and next game, so we'll see if that's the way out definitely for Washington. Or if they can build up more of a lead in the remaining 5 minutes they've got before that period. Lulu's doing next half.
Two beats here, clear everything out. He's has to attack.
They do have budget control, which they never had during the game.
Nobody's getting to that one. The turf is
2 beats here, clear everything out. It's going to be Grace has to attack him, but she throws high. Nobody's getting to that one. The turf is the victor there. It's going to be a turnover to Washington, who, you know, with some of the younger players, with Bourne coming in, are able to get some rest. Sorry, with Hogan coming in, are able to get some rest here.
Yeah, Washington.
Let's go, offense! Yeah, it's something we saw a lot of early in the series. We talked to none of them going, we said they're not scared to narrow down the depth chart.
Sheridan is marked by McGargan, but not too tightly. Back to Bear. Bear is being given space to work, though. Havlin is going to step out on her. Goes over to Hogan. Hogan gets hit, and his pass is going to be loose, picked up by McGargan. He flips over to Archibald, and I think we're about to get the full first line back on the field. Oh, no, it's Zach Doyle coming into the game. So it's going to be Doyle, Costa, Dastu, and Archibald in the game for Boston. As Luluzu looks to work on Burgess, he clears him out. It's going to be a no-budger situation. A big tackle here from Sheridan, but Dastu's able to get it out. Oh, and a wide-open pass to Doyle. We're going to have a stoppage, but a beautiful look there from Costa.
Yeah, that's great passing from Boston. That's more like it. Not taking the kind of longer shots and finding an open player near the hoops for the alley-oop.
Yep.
I also like on the last play, Boston has been playing a mark defense as the goal is signaled good, but Max Havlin was able to step out on Julia Bear, who was being left unmarked. That's how Washington is going to neutralize that look.
Yes, this is a worry we did see from Washington in their first series. Game 1, I'm thinking specifically when they got a little bit more into their depth, and New York was really able to run things out there. Boston is not in its depth right now. It is in its number 1 line, top to bottom, with maybe the exception of Doyle, though. I think Doyle is a great player. Sheridan's working on Costa, gets it back to Farnan. Farnan just gets shut down by Archibald. A beautiful block there by Hogan, though. He's looking to go through the whole team. He's still got 2 hands on the quaffle. Oh, he finally gets shut down, and Zoo's able to clean it up. A big effort there by Hogan, but he's shut down by a gang tackle from Boston.
Hogan was dragging half the Boston team with him. He just couldn't get the shot away.
Yeah, with this 2-arm tackling, it's so hard to have free enough arms to get a shot off because there's just so many arms around you, especially when you're being gang tackled.
That's right. That's right.
Washington did come away with budget control. They're back in their starting beater set now. Nardone and Smith in the game, working against Havlin and Zoo. They did a great job keeping budget control from them in their first shift. We'll see if they can do it again here. Costa goes over to Archibald. Archibald's working down the right wing. A quick pass to Doyle. Doyle's able to get over to Costa. He's pressured by Smith. A beautiful look again by Costa. We're waiting on a call. It's going to be wide. Archibald. Yeah, not sure what happened there. Archibald's able to get a reset after being beat.
There's so much intricate movement that Boston's chasers are doing there to draw the Washington defense out of the play as Grace Dastu drives.
Yeah, and she gets met by a huge tackle by Nardone. They're going to come away with possession off of that one. Tough, even with Havlin leading you all the way in. You either have to take a shot or eventually meet a tackle, and Nardone made the big one there. Farnan made the big one there. Really staunch defense from Washington keeping them in this game.
Yeah, Boston could do a little bit more to support their players driving towards the hoops. If Grace Dastu had, an option, a passing outlet close by, they could have still scored on that play.
Yep, 50 all now. Budget control did go back to Boston in that possession. Doyle steps all the way out on Sheridan. Sheridan looking for a reset, does find Trudeau, still in the offensive half. But beat attempt by Havlin, knocks the ball out. Costa does get the ball. Oh, Trudeau is just taking the ball right off of Archibald. Oh, he's going right through Archibald. He does eventually get called either off broom or maybe some illegal contact. He does have to reset. Long pass. That was too aggressive from Archibald. Sheridan waiting for it all the way. It is going to stay with the Admirals as they look to make some subs.
Last week, Jake Archibald had a difficult series against Rochester in a scoring department, but he did unleash a couple of absolutely beautiful full-court passes on the break. He just got a little too greedy there.
Yep. We are definitely approaching the 20-minute mark here. We'll see if Washington's looking to hold for possession. Pass across to Heald here. Heald has a lot of space to operate. Dolan and has subbed in. Havlin still on the field. Oh, Heald never saw Havlin there. He knocks out the quaffle with a beat, and it goes to Archibald. Unfortunately, that is going to be right before the 20-minute mark, so Boston is going to get one more possession here.
That's another really costly turnover from Washington. There have been a couple that have really left them without opportunities to score in a low-scoring game where they need every goal.
Yep. So 50 all. Like I said, this should be the last possession before the end of the secret floor. Doyle with the ball on the right side. Budget control with Dolan and now Nasta, who is sub back into the game for Havlin. He is wrapped by Nardone. Beat on Sheridan. Oh, great catch there by Dolan. Archibald now looking to run on no bludgers. He gets wrapped up, one-armed by Mulcahy. Still looking to slip him. He finally does slip him. He's going in now. Heald tries. Oh, an easy flip away to Doyle. Doyle has been the target man all shift for Boston. He gets his second of the game, and Boston will take a 60-50 lead into the snitch on pitch.
And that is vintage Jake Archibald, just refusing to go down, slipping around tackles, and finding an open player by the hoops.
So 60-50 as we go into the secret period. Looks like John Smutney is going to be our snitch for the day, formerly out of the Detroit program, no longer in their geographical area. But Detroit is playing a big series against Cleveland today as well to see who's going to jump out ahead there in the North Division. Both teams 0-3 to start the season. But let's stay focused. What are you looking to see from both these teams in the snitch on pitch situation?
Yeah, well, you previewed the snitch on pitch matchup a few minutes ago, where Boston looked pretty dominant in their first series. Harry Greenhouse caught very quickly twice, and Washington, on the other hand, struggled against New York. They were starting T.J. Jenneret, who did get one very nice snitch catch, but was unsuccessful in the other two matches. So the advantage is to Boston here in a close game. They know how to play with the snitch on pitch.
Yeah, Jenneret also had the really costly yellow card for charging the snitch in that initial series. I'm sure it's something that the team has talked to him about, so we'll see if they can make some adjustments. One thing we never really saw in that series was any seeking from Tyler Trudeau, Trudeau obviously has made some very large catches in his career. The catch against Australia at the World Cup 2018 is one that really would jump out into my mind, to be sure. But, yeah, well, the other interesting thing here, though, is, like, what can the Admirals maybe get done in snitch on pitch, you know, while the secret play is going on? We've seen them be the more physical team. Can they maybe get some goals and start to push a little bit of advantage? Set score is going to be 120, so they would need 7 of them. But even if, you know, you get a few and then Boston catches, at least you're keeping things close as you come down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Washington's chasers are going to give their team a chance. They're going to be able to outscore, they're going to have a good chance to outscore Boston here. But Boston is definitely favored in the secret game.
Yeah. So I think we're about to get things started. We'll see who the starting seekers are. I assume TJ Generate, who I don't actually think we ever saw on the pitch in the quaffle game.
No, we didn't.
Will be most likely getting the start. And then Harry Greenhouse got the start in all 3 games for the Forge. In their first series, I imagine things won't change here. Greenhouse is the kind of player who can make it happen in one shot, so he is the kind of seeker you want starting. And, you know, if it seems like a bad matchup and he's having trouble shooting around, you can always sub him out. But if you want someone who's going to come in and get the job done right off the bat, Greenhouse is a great one for that. Some concern here for the Admirals. Melissa Smith's headed over the AT table. Doesn't seem like anything too serious, but I imagine she's at least not going to be starting this snitch on pitch situation.
Yeah, Trudeau headed over there, too, to get some tape on his knees. You know, in this secret matchup, though, we have Maryland Seekers, past and present, too, with TJ Generate and Harry Greenhouse. This is going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, Greenhouse keeps meeting up with connected Seekers to him. Obviously saw Kit Palpour in his opening series, one of his players at BU. Now 2 very different generations of the Maryland program. TJ Generate only been with the program for about 18 months. Greenhouse's time with the program goes back almost a decade. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like we said, Smutny going to be the snitch. Ricky Nelson's going to be watching him. Ball is going to be with Washington. Trudeau is going to be able to get back on the pitch. Got all taped up as necessary. Smith has also made her way back to her bench, so I'm not sure either of those injuries will actually affect the team as we get into snitch on pitch. But we're going to get started here. Boston with the 60-50 lead. 10 seconds until release of the Seekers. Nardone beats away Doyle. He's also going to be waiting for Greenhouse here, so it's going to be a free, easy beat there. Generate's going to get the first shot. Budget control, though, with Boston. They have 2 beaters ready. Trudeau over to Heald. Heald looking to work on nobody. Oh, but throws it high there to Sheridan, and that's another one of those costly turnovers, unforced, that you've been talking about from this Washington program. Greenhouse getting all the time in the world early here, though Hicks is able to get a beat on Greenhouse to at least stem the bleeding a little bit. But so far it's been Dolan and Nasta. No, but they are going to lose budget control here. Greenhouse is going to get a shot, but after that it is going to be some Washington advantage. In the quaffle game, meanwhile, Archibald is driving the lane. Flips over to Dastu. The easy pick and roll and the easy goal. This has been Boston's bread and butter since 2 years ago when these rules first went into place.
Yeah, and Cody Nardone just gave away budget control back to Boston, so they're going to work again, allow Greenhouse to work on the snitch again. Yeah,
we get the pick and roll here, attempt from Heald and Trudeau, but Costa goes right around it. That said, Trudeau is going to run right through Costa, right through Archibald. He really is the guy you want in this kind of scenario and scores very easily.
Yeah, and smart play, too, to set a pick there. That's what you need to do with snitch on pitch.
You can set a pick in Saturdays. You can also set them on Thursday with Nick Jablonski. Check out that show. Beckman is subbed in. It's like we talked about. If we don't think that right away Greenhouse is going to get a good look, time to get another look. Beckman, the one who had the catch to win Boston the 2019 championship, looking to make a difference here, but Burgess is able to beat him out. Looks to make a play on Dolan and makes a very clean beat. That's too slowly bringing the ball up here. It's been 10-10 in the quaffle game since we got started. Free pass over to Doyle, free goal. It is now 80-60 in favor of Boston.
And I don't like that look from Washington defensively. They were marking Jake Archibald very tightly, just allowing Grace Dastu to advance completely unmarked and find a Boston chaser for an open goal.
Oh, Heald looked to set a pick, but Acosta again blew it up. Sheridan, though, in the open space, he does lose the ball. Going to flip it back to Heald. Heald is looking for Trudeau, but it gets first tipped off by Doyle and eventually falls in the hands of Jake Archibald. And things are starting to get away from Washington a bit here in snitch on pitch quaffle play. Beckman's getting a lot of time with the snitch. And I think that was the catch. If that is the catch, Boston's only going to need a quick 10 points to put this first game of the series away. So it'll basically be a game set match because it's going to require a lot from Washington. Score on that grab would make it 115-60 with a set score of 120. So catch is good. So Beckman once again delivering for the Boston program. His first catch of the season. Greenhouse had both of their catches on their opening series. And Boston is now just 10 goals away from improving to 4-0 on the season.
Yeah, Tyler Beckman must just really like this Mid-Atlantic region. The championship-winning catch, of course, in Richmond, Virginia, will be back here in Howard County, Maryland for the 2021 MLQ Championship.
Yeah, he just needs some swampy humidity in the air for him to really come through.
Yeah, exactly.
So Boston in no rush. They have bludger control. All they need is one goal. They can go all out for it. They don't have to worry about anything but putting the ball through the hoops. Dastu's working on Burgess. Finds an open Costa. Trudeau's going to step out. He looks for Fenning. Fenning could have he gets beat by Burgess. About to say he could have a game winner in his first ever game with the team, but not to be there. Still has a chance to get on the next possession. Dolan presses high, and we get some action right over by us as Burgess fails to hit Dolan.
We have a bludger in the booth, but Bernie Burgess is going to recover that.
It's nothing we haven't seen before. Sheridan's going to bring it up slowly against bludger control. Obviously, time no longer a factor in this game. It's just whether Washington can score 6 before Boston scores a single goal.
Yeah, it's a tall task, and one that they faced in the New York series twice, too, when they were not able to pull the snitch.
Fenning stepping high, looking to show his physical bona fides. Oh, a great look there from Mulcahy to find Bear, but she can't hold on to it. She gets shoved down. I think Archibald's going to be coming away with a card for that one.
And that's a smart play from Julia Bear, just to put herself in a position
to square your shoulders to the
foul.
ball. Yeah, square your shoulders to the ball and make it really tough for the defender to do anything with you. That said, it's not going to be a free goal because bludger control is still with Boston, and Ashley Dolan is well positioned to handle Bear here. So Fenning's going to go back to his most natural position, putting on the green headband for the first time for Boston, with Archibald stepping off with his first yellow card of the series. So Bear is going to set all the way back here. Bear looking to work on Costa, but instead just going to reset it back to Trudeau. Probably the smart play there. Get the beaters back set. Burgess was just coming back into the play having been beat. Sheridan's got a ton of room on this right side. Of course, against his own defense without one of the players, there's going to be a lot of space for call players to work. Mulcahy goes, oh, beautiful there from Sheridan. Goes around Fenning and uncorks one through the hoop. 115-70.
Yeah, that's great to see. That play was created. Ashley Dolan missed a beat, and Mario Nasta, I don't think, had realized that Ashley Dolan was out of the play there, allowing Sheridan to shoot and score there.
Yep. Archibald back in the game, wearing the white headband, though taking up the keeper duties, I am sure, as we continue on here. Havlin and Addie Arjona coming into the game. Addie's first time with the Forge. But, again, one goal wins here. Dastu with the ball on the right side. Arjona playing high on Sheridan. Get Sheridan out of play. Oh, and a catch on the beat from Hicks. That's going to live a lot of time. Oh, Archibald completely lost track of Hicks. Oh, but it's going to be Costa. No, they're going to say that Archibald played way too much after that beat, which is unfortunately going to make Costa's beautiful floater that would have put this game away not a goal. Beaters did everything they could there, but like I said, Archibald just losing track of Hicks at the last second, and Hicks able to clean it up. $115.70 now the score. Obviously a long climb for Admirals, but they are slowly starting to make their way back into it.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, especially with Max Havlin in the game.
I'll wax poetic for a second. Max Havlin, my coach partner at Harvard, Addie Arjona, one of our players. So cool to see them on the pitch together.
Yeah,
rather
that's
than just
a great
coach-player
moment.
relationship.
And Addie Arjona made such a great play on her first stint of MLQ action, catching a bludger. As head referee Alex Amadal issues a warning to the benches that there's a lot of noise and it's tough to hear right now.
Yeah.
As we sit here next to the DC Metro.
I was going to say DC Metro with some construction going on up on that bridge right across from us here. Also, winds are picking up a little bit, which I'm sure is kind of adding to some of the communication issues. Luckily, the cloudy overcastness, I think, is making things a little bit more tolerable for the players, so hard to complain about that.
Yeah, it's a nice day for Quidditch in the DC Metro area in summer.
We we take small victories when it comes to DC weather in July.
Absolutely.
So we're about to get started here. As we said, the goal was no good from Costa due to the beat by Hicks onto Archibald. We're getting some substitutions. Stepping onto the field for the first time now in the Washington beater game is Abby Lloyd from the George Mason program. 20 years old, one of the youngest players in this entire series. Trudeau spoke highly of her in our pre-series meetup. It's exciting to see what she does alongside Nardone here. Bear's going to calmly take the ball. Arjona presses briefly, but just forces the pass back to Trudeau. Trudeau looking deep into the zone, finds Sheridan. Sheridan across to Mulcahy. Mulcahy all the way up top to Trudeau. Trudeau's going to have some space here if he can work on Costa. He gets into the lane, tries to bounce off Costa. He's keeping his left arm free. Now it's a gate tackle, but Trudeau, incredible arm and body control. Slips through all of them, flips it through. 115-80. We've got a little bit of a comeback on our hands.
Yeah, when you see something like that and Boston with no answers for a play like that, you start to think maybe there's a chance that Washington could come back into this game.
The real issue is that it's such a tall order, and this Boston team is so good at shooting. So even if the momentum is all in your favor, they just need to uncork one through a hoop, and it's all over. Oh, no, darn, almost slips him half one. He's going to get beat instead. Oh, Costa has a lot of space to work here. Trudeau basically knew it was over. Could only cover the one hoop. Costa goes across, hits the shot, puts it away, 125-80. Boston's going to improve to 4-0 here.